walked through this building, you saw TSA. You didn't know they were going to help you do security. Those were federal employees that should help you secure you at the airport. So when you stop by and see them as you leave here today, we're able to thank them for being on that wall for you, for helping secure you, for making sure that your grandparents got their Social Security, for making sure that that HUD voucher got through for those who needed housing. Remember your federal employees. They're constantly in this fight, and there's a man on the other side of this room, or outside this table, that is constantly attacking them just for doing their job. President Campbell, I thank you for this opportunity.
Good morning, everyone. I am Letitia Jackson, the convener of the South Alabama Black Women's Roundtable and one of the plaintiffs in Alabama's successful lawsuit that we took all the way to the Supreme Court and got a new congressional district, the 2nd Congressional District. So the South Alabama Black Women's Roundtable will be focused on that 2nd Congressional District in this upcoming election. During the primary and the primary runoff, we identified 10,000, about roughly 10,000 infrequent voters that we are focusing on, that we actually talked to, we've actually contacted, and we will be contacting them a minimum of 3 more touches before November 2nd. Our goal is to make sure that those 10,000 voters vote in this election. And then we are also focusing on Congressional District 7, which is Congresswoman Terry Sewell's district, because her district got changed a little bit as well. So it's not as safe a district as it has been in the past. So we're going to be focusing on that and building around our state legislative offices that are becoming next year. So we're building in Alabama. We are looking to flip some seats and change some things from a C3 perspective for people that are representing our interests in the things that we are interested in. So keep your eye on Alabama, and we plan to make sure that we send a new congressional member to the United States Congress that will represent the issues of those of us in Alabama who have gone unrepresented and who have been represented by a congressperson that was elected on an illegal map. So that's what we're doing in Alabama.
Hello, I am Judith Moore with Sisters Saving Ourselves Now, Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania Black Women Roundtable. So in Pittsburgh, we are breaking down strongholds and we're pushing and we're not letting go. We're strategizing a movement and not an event. For we have been called for such a time as this. We have one of the largest Black women representation from the local government to the state, from the first Black mayor to local Black men and women representation to Speaker of the House and Lieutenant Governor. We take our assignment from the Great Commission: go and make disciples, baptize and teach. And so we're continuing to collaborate with other Get Out the Vote, boots on the ground groups. We're on the streets, in the bar, in the church, in the high school, football game, barbershop. We're at the bus stop, we're at phone, banking, texting. We're training Get Out the Vote disciples. We are ordaining poll workers. We are baptizing our youth to prepare them for the work that is before us. For we know that God has made us this promise: I will always be with you, even until the end of the earth. Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania, we are a people ready to bring it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Moore, Jerry, a couple of y'all
Well, while we giving the thanks, let me just say to you, Melanie, thank you. Everybody, we need to give a big round for your consistent coalition building that you have done for the years. Thank you, Melanie Campbell. I am Rev Yearwood from the Hip Hop Caucus. It's like a family reunion up in here. It feels wonderful. There's three things, obviously, at the Hip Hop Caucus. We have our Respect My Vote campaign. Hip Hop Caucus turns 20. The first thing I want to kind of speak to, and some of these things may be carried on in other conversations, but the first thing that we have noticed at the Hip Hop Caucus is that we have taken a broadside attack from white supremacists. They have begun to look at, I would say, some of the weaker components within the culture, and because of resources gone to them and literally give them resources to go against our people. That's an important dynamic because as we are looking out there, some of these folks have influence. We even have some of our past spokespeople who were a part of Hip Hop Caucus, like Amber Rose and others, who literally have flipped the script to go and say other things totally different. So why that's important is that what I would ask of you is that as many of you are working with particularly cultural influencers, artists, I know how they're important for audience building. I know how they're important for particularly engaging young people and other diverse communities. What is important is that I would hope, because of this moment, as we are trying to figure out how to plug the gate, so to speak, and really bring more political education to those influencers and artists within to understand more of what's happening. I would ask for you, if you're dealing with artists and dealing with influencers, if you can also just reference them, ask them if they have been a part of the Hip Hop Caucus, ask them if they have kind of gone through that program to see how we can bring them back into the fold. That would be very helpful because I know that it's very enticing to work with artists in that regard, but it's very important for us to kind of pull the ranks. And we'll see more and more of that, particularly as we get into the key months of the election. The second thing I want to bring up that we are realizing that's very important is artificial intelligence. So I hope that we have conversations about that either now or at another time. In this election, I actually think that this may be the last election that we can actually do what we're doing right now without some of the impacts of artificial intelligence. So we should really have that conversation. The third thing that I think is important from us as Hip Hop Caucus is really in the conversation of policy and having those real conversations that are dealing from Congo, Gaza, climate justice, other issues that are really important that allow for us to feel and be transparent to this community so it doesn't look like we are not upholding. And finally, the one thing I would say is that I wear multiple hats. This is also the 20th anniversary of Hip Hop Caucus. We have our big event during the Congressional Black Caucus, so we hope to see you all there on September 11th at the start of the CBC. But the one thing I would say, I wear multiple hats. The other hat that I wear is a hat that I have to be a part of, which is I am in the funding circle. I'm the senior advisor for Bloomberg Philanthropies, and the room gets flipped. It literally gets flipped. There's only one or two of us in those rooms, and I'm literally fighting for them to do right by money. What I can consistently see is that in these spaces, there's this tendency to give a little bit of money to then cause our groups to fight with one another for scraps, while other groups are getting literally 3 and 4 times that money. I'll give you an example. One of the things we looked at, we had 12 foundations last year that gave out $1.3 billion for advocacy around this issue, but only 1.3% of that went to Black-led organizations. That means that 99% of the money didn't come into this room. That means out of the 1.3% of that money, roughly 900 million, we begin to fight for and then talk behind each other's back, which then causes a lot of problems in our own communities. So we need to have a conversation about holding philanthropy accountable and holding and working together within our own space so that we are not ourselves fighting for the scraps, but really getting the resource that we need to do to this work to change and fund our community. Thank you all so much. God bless you, Hip Hop Caucus. Look forward to working with you.
And we want to miss the opportunity to gather and share, and have some opportunities to connect with each other. And get the 78 days, 76 days left, and some of you want to know have aspirations. But I would ask, our brother Joseph Bryant, who's the, Executive Vice President of NCIU, to share. I think, I got a couple names of folks, Sheila B, CEO of the Slave. I know Cleola, so I'm gonna put you down here. Cleola Brown, President of the April Grant Institute. Our sister Latasha Brown, and Albright, co-founders of Black Women's Matter. Okay, all right. So, Sarah, put on the shield. All right. Okay, Jesus. And now you got the grown ups.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Melanie. And do you mind if I stand? It's just hard to see folks on this side of the table. So one, just wanted to say we are extremely proud and appreciative of our partnership, our working together. And again, Joseph Bryant, Executive Vice President, SEIU International. We represent nearly 2 million workers, US, Puerto Rico, and Canada. And those are, those are our family. That's healthcare workers, nurses, janitors, security guards, public workers. That's who we represent. And part of what we wanted to come and talk a little bit about today was folks know in labor that obviously we come here to advocate for workers, make sure workers have voices, make sure our communities have voices. But there's a little bit of a debate that we have sometimes in labor too, is to say, we focus on wages, benefits, and working conditions, right? But we call ourselves brothers and sisters, right? So if we call ourselves brothers and sisters, can we only think about what happens between 9 to 5? Are we only brothers and sisters from 9 to 5? Or do we have to think about what's actually happening in our communities? We have to be supportive in our communities. And sometimes, it's not an easy conversation to have to say we have to prioritize not just what happens between 9 to 5, but if we're truly family, if we're truly brothers and sisters, we got to support one another and one another's lives and one another's community. So that is part of the reason why we are, strong advocates for this. We are extremely proud also. I don't know if you guys heard the news, but we elected our first Black woman president of SEIU, April Verretz, just a couple months ago. And part of what we hope to do in the next 76 days is throw down in a number of ways. One, partnering with organizations, all the organizations here that we can work with. We hope to get in contact, and we will get in contact with 6 million infrequent voters. We're calling them high opportunity voters. Instead of infrequent voters, it's high opportunities. It's folks in our community. And actually, if we have the conversation with them, we can inspire folks to come out, register to vote, get to the polls. We also want to build, obviously, a multi-generational, multiracial movement that sustains us through these next 76 days, but beyond that. Because even if we win over the next 76 days, we still got a lot of work ahead of us. So I don't want to take up too much time, but thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I do want to make sure that we're clear. This is a 501c3 meeting, but many of y'all have also had, so we've shared information. So while y'all watching, I know y'all watching, we're clear. Some folks are going to share what they're doing from a partisan or nonpartisan perspective. The National Coalition of Black Citizens Participation is a 501c3. I felt y'all looking at me, say something. Yes, we are gathering and sharing information and it's not, we are endorsing anybody, some of y'all may have endorsed, that's your business, you can share that. Lawyers, help me out, man, help me out, oh, okay, Tanya Playhouse, any other lawyers in the house? Okay, it is, yeah, am I good, okay, now just making sure, all right. Sheena, Cleola, Natasha, Cliff.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sheena. I'm the CEO of the Peace Initiative, a bipartisan organization that is focused on removing barriers for people who have arrested convictions and create opportunities. And we do that by automating record sealing. Really proud that over the last 4 years, we've been able to pass legislation in over 12 states that have adopted clean slate policies that has opened the door for 15 million people to get their record cleared. I want to thank Ms. Melanie, who is a mentor, and all my mentors and colleagues and comrades in this room. I feel like we're a family reunion. I wish I seen all y'all yesterday so we could dance together. But Clean Slate is not in the business around democracy or electoral work. But my claim to fame, the work that I have been doing over the years as Black Youth Vote and as Slaughter Rights Restoration Coalition is making sure that people show up at the polls. And more specifically, I did the work on the amendment for my husband as a means to restore voting rights to 1.4 million people in Florida. And so I'm going to speak on this. Thank y'all. All of us all collectively leading on that. I'm going to speak on this on the next panel I'm on. But what I do want to leave with you all is that you all are at the table, you're in conversations with the party, with leaders. It's something that has been disturbing my spirit, and I'm going to speak on it on the next panel. Is this narrative of prosecutor versus felon. There are 20 million people in this country that have a felony conviction. 1 out of 3 people, I'm one of them. Some of y'all have them. Some of your daughters, your sons, your cousins, your fathers, your mothers, your grandparents, your pastors. And I'm coming here with my C3 status to talk about the issues. But what all I feel and I hear is this narrative around Trump and his convictions. He take that as a badge of honor. That don't hurt him. That hurt us. That hurt the people that really have trouble getting a job, that get housing, that take it as a scar of shame. And what I want to tell y'all is that y'all moving people away rather closer in. Because if we're using this language and just keep talking about people with felonies and people are gonna say, well, who's the people that's welcome us back? So as y'all go about, as y'all leave this room, I'm challenging y'all to change the language, to use people first narrative. We had to see DNC, the Democrat National Convention, but I'm like, you DNC, do not criminalize, do not keep using this language, because it is hurting us, it is unraveling all the work that we all collectively have done to get people to the polls. There are people that are excited. I know for Florida, let me speak for Florida, this is their first election, a historic election to vote in, who have felony convictions, that are excited about voting. But when they are met or hearing language about organizers and people that they look up to using dehumanizing language, we're shying away. So my challenge to y'all is to just think about the language, think about all the work that we have done, and remember the 70 to 100 million people in this country that has an arrest or conviction. And also our vice president, sorry. The vice president candidate is also someone who has a misdemeanor conviction. And he signed Clean Slate into law in Minnesota. So I'm just asking our people to be thoughtful about how we move about this in these next few months before election time. Thank you.
Thank you, sis. Cleola,
case, they are going to try to steal it, and they're going to say we can justify it through legal technicalities. We were at Congresswoman Jackson Lee's funeral. Madam Vice President up and said, then we can win this as long as we make sure our community gets out to vote. And I remember thinking, yeah, that's true, but it's not going to be that simple because they know that too, that we win if our community gets out to vote. So what are they going to do? They're going to do everything in their power to make sure that little black and brown people like our cousins, my cousins, Jumbo and Shaniqua and Leroy, they're going to make sure that they do everything in their power. Every technical game in Florida, we represented now 7 people to be Melody. I mean, there are convicted felons who had their rights restored, got voter registration cards given to them, and they go vote. Little old black women, 60 years old, 70 years old, they're coming to their houses at 1 o'clock in the morning with guns drawn, arresting them, and taking them to jail in handcuffs. They want to say, you Negroes, if you think you can vote, I dog dare you to go try it. That's what they're trying to do. So what we gotta do, y'all, we got us blessed Negroes. I won't say bourgeois Negroes. Us blessed Negroes. We got to go in our neighborhoods. Since we got this education, we got these resources, we got these fancy degrees, and we got to go have election watches. We got to work with the black churches, we got to work with the fraternities and sororities, the civil rights organizations, and we got to say, who's the supervisor of election? Who's the secretary? I mean, we got to ask these questions. If we don't do it, the community won't get the vote. I promise you, they will never get the opportunity. And so we got to be proactive now more than ever. I know Tony Clay House does excellent work when we talk about going to find out what are the laws that are going to impede our people from voting. We know they can bring the federal game. That's one part of it. But then the other part of it is they're virtual roads. They're moving polling what you normally do. They're cutting off early voting. They're doing all kinds of things. We got to make sure we know when registration stops. We got to know when early voting starts so we can tell people in our community. They look up to us. They look up to Siobhan. They look up to Mark. If you all go and make a judgment to say, hey, October 7th in Georgia, right, Natasha, ain't no more registration. You said that every day, they know it. But if we don't do it, they won't know the technical games that are being played. And the last thing I'll say is this, y'all. Man, these guys are going to try to steal us. At the end, they're absolutely, we don't win. We don't win. I guarantee you, a place like Georgia,
That's right.
places like North Carolina, all the ones that are going to be very close, they're not going to concede. So we got to make sure that our people, when they go vote, we got to educate. I have all the faith in the world where she said to me is going to come true. If our community go out and vote, we will win this election. But the only thing part I think that we all are overlooking is we're running against a crook. And he's going to try to do what crooks do. They're going to steal, lie, and cheat to win the election. So, brothers and sisters, I'm coming right short, brother. We got enough educated Negroes. We got enough articulate Negroes.
What we need now is some Negroes who got courage. That's what we need to go to the front line and help our people. Thank you.
Really quickly, to give a youth's perspective, my name is Mary Pat Hector from RISE, a Gen Z youth-led organization mobilizing young people between the ages of 18 to 27 years old. We represent over 250,000 college students and alum who care about access to the ballot and access to debt-free college options. We all know that the youth vote is very integral. Over 41 million young people between the ages of 18 and 27 will vote this year. And so we are doing our best to mobilize those young people at the margins, running program in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Last year, when we were in this space with the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, we committed to organizing over 1 million young people this upcoming election, training nearly 4,000 student organizers across the country to field our work, and investing $6 million in Gen Z-led grassroots organizing. Paying students a full-time and part-time livable wage, and I'm happy to report that we are doing just that. Over the next few weeks, we will scale our work. Just last week, we hired 100 additional full-time and part-time student employees. Again, that is full-time and part-time work. Training students through RISE universities and Black the Vote sessions in partnership with organizations like Climate Power, Black Youth Vote, and other grassroots orgs that are in this room on the grounds in the states that we serve. These trainings are training and teaching young people, as well as Until Freedom and others. These trainings that we're teaching young people, we're showing them how to deep canvas. We're showing them and providing them with tools to educate their communities on ways in which they can get out the vote. The truth is, our organizations aren't touching these voters because they're not in the voter file. The candidates are not touching these voters because they're not engaged or interested in the candidates. What is going to motivate and push these young people to vote are the issues. And so we're training young people on how to motivate and mobilize young people around the issues they care about the most, whether that's student debt relief, whether that's climate, whether that's reproductive justice, ensuring that we are having conversations that they're extremely passionate about and providing them with the resources for them to be able to do that. We are also providing grants as a national organization that's been able and blessed to be able to raise over $6 million and scale up our organization. We saw other youth-led organizations not be able to open their doors because while the vote is energetic and exciting right now, it wasn't a month ago. A lot of youth-led organizations at the margins are closing their doors. And so RISE has committed to supporting over 15 organizations with grants up to $15,000 to support us in reaching our 1 million young people on the ground. By the end of the year, we would have reached over 250,000 young people through unique plans to vote, knocked on over 300,000 doors, and trained nearly 5,000 student organizers, and again, invested nearly $6 million in student and Gen Z-led organizing. Thank you.
Wiley here, he's left, so I will present the next of our association as well. One thing I wanted to just make sure everybody understands, we're talking about the power of the ballot. People need to be on message. They're calling, this is about messaging, it's reorganization, but they're calling the vice president a DEI candidate. That's fine. She's a duly educated individual, and all of y'all in here are that. And so we need to recognize what it is that they're talking about. We're conflating the message about critical race theory and race and diversity, as if that is not a new thing. We are here to tell you, if you want to get educated, go to the African American Policy Forum, understand what is actually going on, understand what we're about, understand Professor Kimberly Crenshaw, who is the mother of intersectionality, who developed and reformed critical race theory. In addition, we're going to make sure we talk about getting out to vote. We're going to talk about perfecting democracy, the American Bar Association, making sure that everybody is engaged, working with the Election Protection Coalition. I encourage you all to get together. Contact me, Tanya Playhouse, tplayhouse3@gmail.com, making sure that we understand how we get out and make sure we're a message and make sure that we know. Thank you all.
When our rights are, yeah. When our rights are under attack, what will we do?
Stand up, fight back.
We're gonna stand up and fight back. So in Georgia, all these elections that come from Georgia, as well as the rest of our state, we are preparing for you. If you have volunteers, if you have community organizations that want to do some work, we got you in Georgia. Georgia, stand up, got you. We need you in Georgia. We're ready for you. We're phone banking, text banking, canvassing, and we're in these streets. National voter registration.
Okay.
Day. Let's do it everywhere we go.
We can give you
Okay. Be on your college campus on Black Voter Registration Day and National Voter Registration Day. Georgia, stand up, never stop.
Hey, this is Petey Talley, your girl from Ohio. The road to 270 may not run through Ohio, but don't sleep on us. We are registering voters. We're turning them out to vote. We passed reproductive freedom in our state last year, and we're going to show up and show out in Ohio. We're going to do this. Thank you.
Hello, I'm with YWCA. I'm Catherine Bean. On September 7th in Philadelphia and live streamed around the country, we have a Gen Z town hall focused on young women of color and gender diverse individuals. We have a national survey coming out on September 4th that will specifically look at the priorities, concerns, and of Black women as well as other women of color. And this event, I've heard so much conversation about mobilizing the young vote. Get folks to tune in. This is a C3 friendly opportunity. We are using issues to really connect the dots and hopefully motivate our young voters to get out there. I've got some flyers for anybody who'd like them. Thank you.
President Patty's Partnerships, thank you, Mel, for always convening us. So grateful to be here with you all. As you all know, that famous quote from Dr. King, that the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. I think some of us have fallen asleep thinking that the bend is going to happen on its own. It is only happening because we are jumping up there and pulling it towards justice for our people. So between now and November, do not fall asleep and think that because we have the momentum and the energy, that will translate into votes. We have to go out there, make sure our people are registered and that they show up to the polls. Right? We don't want to have this moment and we don't capitalize on this opportunity for our people. The next generation is watching. The ancestors are watching. They are proud. The next generation is watching to see how we will make this country better for them. They need to see our leadership in this moment. We are doing it. We are standing in the gap for them to make sure that the American dream is real, that they can access high quality education, that they are not saddled with debt, and that they can do better than we did. They want to see us pave the path for them. So please, between now and November, y'all have a great time. Welcome to my hometown of Chicago, where grit and tenacity are built into all of us. And so we just want to make sure that you guys are continuing to do the work and that we are here, Values Partnership, alongside of you doing the work with Win with Black Women. And we love to see you guys on the Sunday call. See you soon.
Who's next? Quickly, y'all.
All right, everybody say Black ballots, Black futures. Black ballots, Black futures.
My name is Abdul Dasunmu. I'm the Executive Director of the Young Black Lawyers Organizing Coalition. We are mobilizing Black lawyers all over the country and Black law students to help protect the vote, but also to do civic education and help create an agenda for our communities. As we've been talking to young people all over the country, one of the things we hear from them is that they want to see a Black agenda. They want to see an agenda to counter Project 2025. And so on September 17th, we will be convening alongside several organizations, HBCU Green Fund, Rise Until Freedom, and others, a national town hall called Vision 2028, where young people, young Black people will come together to create a Black agenda for the next 4 years. And so we want to encourage and invite all of you to be part of that effort. Send your youth representatives, your young adult representatives, your young professional representatives. The other work that we'll be doing is mobilizing all over the country to do civic education and voter protection and election protection. If you want to learn more about our efforts, yblock.org.
Next, thank you.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Henry Clouds, and I'm representing the 100 Black Men of America. I'm speaking about our national initiative, the Real Men's Gold Campaign. That was created by our public policy chairman, Dr. Wes Bellamy. This is a national tour with 18 cities in pivotal swing states and activated directly by our world headquarters with the goal of informing and educating our community members about the power of their vote and the power of their voice. And we know that misinformation has gone rampant in our community, and we're being intentional with this campaign to combat those things. And so we want to make sure that the 100 Black Men of America is going to show up and show out during this election cycle. Thank you.
Most often known for our education, for education, but we're doing a lot in the voter education space in the ground game, in South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Those Black voters are, where those shenanigans are, and so join us here with a cool shirt, and it's really easy. You just go to LDS.gov. You can find more voter information, and you can find us on LDS.gov.
Hello, my name is Tamika Ramsey, and I am the Executive Director for the Michigan Coalition on Black Civic Participation. And we know that the only way we're going to win Michigan again is in the trenches. We are meeting people where they are and engaging them around issues. We are talking about Supreme Court candidates in our state, which have really helped to overturn some of these horrible laws that we've had. But we are talking to men, Black boys, Black girls. We are talking to any and everybody to make sure that they get out to vote. That court case that we were talking about earlier happened in Michigan. And so we need to make sure that we're not having any type of voter misinformation going on. So if you are looking for some work, we are doing phone banks, we're doing canvassing, and we're doing Project 2025 town halls to talk to people about what would go away if they won. And we are in Michigan. Tamika at tramseyllc.com. Thank you.
Thank you.